I hope that you are enjoying the studios here at Cincinnati Public Radio.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah, what do you think?
It's amazing. The facilities are incredible. Mm-hmm. And Cincinnati in general is really fun.
How do you like the Aronoff where you guys are performing?
Oh, I love, first of all,
come on.
Any theater that has like space for us to be there on and off stage is always going to, if I could, because, you know, like as we know, like Broadway houses in New York are very compact, you know, because there's not a lot of space.
They were built way back when.
And so there are some houses that we play that kind of
reminisce back to the old,
gives us that,
back to the days.
You know, like the little taste of Broadway.
Right.
And then we have like places like the Aronoff where it's like,
we have couches.
I can sit, I can stretch my legs. And it's a beautiful space, and I'm glad to be back.
You both play parents navigating difficulties with your family while still trying to relive your youth. How easy or hard was it to get into the roles of those characters?
It was really hard for me because the character of Jersey is very different from who Kennedy is as a person. And I am not a mother. I'm not even close. The closest I come is being a dog mom and an aunt to a beautiful niece and nephew. So I had to pull from watching my own mother, watching my sister go through motherhood, watching my friends begin their journeys into motherhood. And it just fills me with so much gratitude for people who have chosen to become mothers. It's such a hard job. And not only that, to pull from being a mother to a rebellious teenager who is figuring out her own life on her own feet. Motherhood is hard, but add that on top of that, then you have a perfect cake of family drama. And so it took me a bit to get into it, but our creatives are incredible. And they were with me every step of the way, and they believed in me, and we made it. We got there.
I will never forget when I first auditioned a few years ago, and I saw the breakdown of Davis, absentee father who's a musician. And I was like, oh, I know this person. My parents divorced when I was like 12, and my dad was a piano player. So I never learned how to play, but I remember watching him play the piano. And so when I saw the character breakdown, I was like, now if I don't get cast in this,
you're like, I know this
person, you know. So a lot of times you do get roles where you will have to like find it. And then you get those roles, you're like, yep, I already know where to pull from. So, so that was I was able to kind of pull from my real life experience and knowing how to present this flawed human being. And I talk about flaws and humans and bringing the humanity to these roles. And knowing that, I have to tell people a lot of times, someone asks me, how does it feel to play the villain in the show? Like, what? No, there are no villains. No villains. This is just flawed human beings, right? Yeah. You know, trying to, like you said, trying to find our way. And so to play this character who has at the crux of it has so much love for his daughter and is proud of his daughter, but his priorities are just out of whack. I think about different celebrities, musicians, when you watch their interviews, who say that the relationships typically with their like oldest children are either not good or they had to repair them for so many years because while they were out being famous and traveling, their kids were at home. And, you know, even though they're like, but I'm providing this and, you know, kids know that you weren't there. You know, as we go and grow, then we realize, it is about being there. And Davis begins to see that as well. Like, I need to be there a little bit more. So I'm glad to be able to step into a role that I'm able to pull from real life experience.
So I went this past Thursday. It was absolutely electric. How do you guys prep for such high energy scenes and your own, you know, high energy, just the show in general? How do you prep for that?
Well, it's a marathon of a show. It's a marathon. The role that I play is very, very taxing vocally. Not as much physically as other stuff that I've done, but I liken it to being like an Olympic athlete. Like Olympic athletes, while they are training for the Olympics, what they eat, how they sleep, how much water they take in, like all of that is very measured and drawn to the achievement of this one goal, right? Well, prepping for any show, and this show in particular, how much water I drink, what I eat, how much I sleep, all of that goes in because it all affects the voice. It all affects how in the moment I can be. I mean, you have your life, right? And it is good to take days off, but while your responsibility is to the show, a lot of your life is not really your own. It does, everything has a purpose to ultimately do a safe, good, fun, bombastically fireworks show, vocally. How about you?
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Of course, years of touring as well. You kind of figure out what you need to do. And
Right. Not even talking about the fact we're moving all the
yeah,
time.
all the time, going from different climate. We're in, Wisconsin, we're just like negative
It's 2 degrees.
2 degrees
Right.
to New Orleans, which is like
Sunny, 65 and 70.
degrees.
We all started getting sick, and then Atlanta.
And then Atlanta, where the pollen is year round, so out now allergy.
And then we come here where we need our winter coats again.
I know that what I do is for the show. I'm here for the show.
Yeah.
It's the conditioning as well. You do something for so long, your body, it's in your body. Each role is so different. As you saw, our incredible dance ensemble goes all out, every night. And I don't know how they do it. I'm so glad that all I get to have to do is just like a little step touch at the end.
And then you watch.
and let the babies, go forth as they do. So that's another great thing about this show is that we have so many elements, from the dancing to the singing to the acting to the wardrobe to the instrument. Oh my God.
So in the show, Miss Liza Jane has a portion where she's playing piano.
Yeah.
And what's so beautiful about the public and casting, they were so intentional. That is actually played live by a woman of color named Joy. She's incredible. She sits up there and the lights come on her. And it's this beautiful Black woman playing these incredible piano pieces, just as a tribute and an homage to everything that Alicia Keys came from and is continuing to do in her work in the show. But it's so important because even though our actors are miming, there is somebody playing that live, right? And it's just a really beautiful image.
I'm playing miming along with our musical director, who is here as well, Emily. And what I like about this show as well that we don't see often is the piano is an actual character in the show.
Yes.
Every song is something that the piano is like a mainstay or a main sound that you'll hear. Even the opening line, it says, and when you get to the ground floor, piano, always piano. So just to have that be a lead in the show as well.
Yes.
And knowing, because as we know, Alicia is a, prolific piano player. And so now we're part of that, centering around a piano and the sound of the piano. That's part of the show. So that's another beautiful thing as well that we don't get to see a lot of.
And I love that, with it being such a big character, that they do include the actual piano on stage. Like you said, I did notice that when watching.
They're dancing on top of it.
Yes, yes. They're dancing on
So
top
many
of it.
lessons were learned in tech about
Yes.
how pianos are not built to dance.
So how do you feel that the reimagining of Alicia Keys' music fitting into the show, how do you feel about that overall feel of her music?
I am thankful to our creative team. First of all, our book writer, Christopher Diaz, and our director, Michael Greif, and our musical supervisor, Adam Blackstone, who came together. And because we've all seen, like your typical like jukebox musicals, whatever, and then the song from the radio comes and then you go to the next scene. But this is the first time I know that I've ever seen a song almost deconstructed, put back together to move the plot forward. One thing I love about this show is because, you have those moments that we call them like cultural shifts that, just kind of shifts the way we see things. We shift the way and I'm like, I think Hell's Kitchen is probably going to have to come up with like a new terminology because it's not a jukebox musical in that typical format.
Right.
And I'm like, I think we're going to shift the culture of Broadway and theater. And we're going to have to come up with some kind of like new terminology that makes more sense than what this actually is, because it's closer to being like an original work,
Right.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
You know,
because-
hot take. I've always thought it would be like a jukebox musical is where, it has other people's music in it, right?
Like
I've always thought a better term for musicals that integrate the music with the script so effectively well that you almost don't realize, like in this show, that it is a musical. You're like, and then all of a sudden Fallen's coming and you're like, oh, I love this song, but it's so different and furthers the plot. I think it's like an artist catalog musical, where it's like a catalog musical because it is from a catalog, but it's not necessarily like pieces that take you out of the show. It's from their catalog.
Now, last question. This story heavily carries themes, of course, of family, of community, of home. What two things do you do or carry with you on tour that make each city feel a little bit more like home?
My husband.
Lucky you.
Lucky me. I'm really lucky because my husband gets to travel with me because he's a personal trainer, so he can travel with his work. But I guess I carry in my dressing room photos of my family, my community, my people. Some of them are from like my life photos with my family and friends. Some of them are from past shows that have just like left an imprint on me, and my artistry, and people that I remember believed in me before I was somebody, and that keeps me grounded. That keeps me humble of always remember where you came from. And so whenever I get overwhelmed by the pressure and sometimes stress of having to hit this high bar of, just excellence that I carry for myself, I look at the photos and I remind myself, I'm like, I'm human too. And these people love me and I love them. And I'm never alone on stage. Even when I'm singing a song by myself on stage in Love Looks, I carry with me the presence of anyone and everyone who's ever had my back or believed in me.
I carry pictures as well. I have a picture of like me and my niece at my station. My niece London.
Unc.
No,
You're such a good uncle too.
And,
they're so lucky.
She'll FaceTime me sometimes. But I told her years ago, I was like, whenever you need me, call me and I will always answer. If I don't answer, I'm either on stage or I'm asleep. Yeah, I have family as well. My family has always been so supportive of me in my journey of getting here and just figuring out my life and all of that. So yeah, I do this for, like you said, for the people who have rooted for me. And like even going back home, I lived in Atlanta for many years and that's where I was introduced to theater. So being back home last week or the week before was such a beautiful moment because I got to see past directors, actor friends, family friends, type of who knew me before I was acting or who came to my first show, and to have them come and see that they're rooting for me and their support, in any kind of facet, wasn't in vain. Like I just for them to see that
It was not.
You all are getting a return on your investment.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you.
I'm
for
Megan
having
Lavilla
us.
in the studio with Kennedy and Desmond
Yes.
for Hell's Kitchen.